question is, this testing of these meters, what does that entail? I mean, is that if you have a water leak or?
People who think that their bill's too high, a lot of times will, think that the meter maybe is malfunctioning, not testing at the correct rate, so they want us to test the meters. We can't do the test ourselves because we don't have the equipment. So we have to have HD water supply test the meters. They charge $75 to test the regular residential 3/4, 5/8. And then if it's a 2-inch meter, they have to ship that off to someone else, and so we don't have a price for the 2-inch meters. That's why that part of the orders or amendment says market, because whatever they quote us, that's what we'll quote the customer.
Now, history on this, for those of you who don't know, Clyde knows, and the rest of you don't. Before this, everybody said, my meter's bad, I want to test it. So the deal is now, and we quit having them, and I've never had one tested that we've never, they would all low on the majority of the week. So we set up, I think it was originally $30. That only took $50, but anyhow, you put up $50 if you think your meter's leaking. Now, a lot of people, not all of them, but some of them know they had drip, they had leak. They don't realize how much a drip will do in a month's time. They don't think they'll put a gallon jug under the drip and see how fast it fills up. But the deal was, if they honestly and truly think that they got a meter bad, then put up your $30. If it's bad, you get your money back and a meter replaced. If it comes back as good, you lose your $30. And they cut down all the abuse. Everybody, every time you go at the meter and the water bill goes high, I want my meter checked. They stopped that. You remember, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I know. Nobody, if that stopped the people that knowing that they had a problem, but they want to blame it on the city. Now then, when they do it, they either don't know they got a problem, they got a leak somewhere bad, but you can ask anybody from anybody that does meters, gas meters, all. When they go bad, they read low. It would take something for one to read high. It had to be, and it would start out bad because it had to be built wrong or something calibrated. But once they calibrate them and they start wearing, they get less and less and less. Sometimes it was our favor. We changed the meters because we were going to get some more money back because it was reading way low. But that's the history of why this come about. And now then, when St. Genevieve took care of their own water, they had a flow meter, and they did it for us. Well, this other company, can't certify and guarantee that St. Genevieve was certified. These people don't want to be liable for certifying, so we had to get this other company that will certify it and go to court. They'll back it in court that reading is accurate. For the other company, would read it, but they wouldn't certify it.
I'd like to see something on the ordinance, and I think it's only an easy thing to do, and I don't see why the city would have any problem with it, and that is that the test results be supplied both to the city, which they probably are, and to the water user.
They are.
So they receive a copy of that? Okay, from the company, on the company's testing, the testing
Don't step over the line.
on the letterhead.
No or nothing.
Okay, because that way, they can't say, well, how do I know?
They get a copy.
Right, and that's why Alliance and St. Gen, they have the testing to do it, but whenever they do a test, they just write it on a piece of scratch paper. Here it is, and which is unofficial, and they won't stand behind it, because I talked to the guy myself.
That's why we had to go to,
HD water supply.
which we use them for a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I know, because
They
if I
would-
wanted
they're
to
not-
have mine, I would want to know that you know how much, I'm not just taking somebody's word for it.
Right.
On this society, we just can't take people's word for
Oh,
things
no, no.
anymore.
They
We
do.
need to have proof.
Oh, yeah, no, they give us the results, and we give them a copy of the exact printout, that we received.
That's,
So-
okay, so
But they
that
can-
would be,
This HW, whoever did, they would go to court by then. Their
but the
equipment is,
person, the
their
water
equipment-
user needs to have a copy, is what I'm
their
saying.
equipment gets tested too. They have to be certified, their test equipment has to be certified too. So they'll stand behind whatever they read out there. But it's kind of a 3 or 4 stage test. You may have one get a fraction off or two, but if you have 4, at least 3 of them will be under.
Well,
Okay.
it doesn't seem as though the city is trying to do it in the manner to try to, make a profit off of
No,
the people, so.
no, it's
Cover your
strictly
costs.
dollar trade for dollar.
Mhm.
The user give us 50 or 75 now, and we give them the 70. We write them checks 75.
Okay.
And they get it back if it comes back. But, I just hadn't seen one come back yet. There may be a case somewhere. Because most of the cities got a way of testing things. They do it. Some, I know Charlestown don't have meters. I don't know if they changed that yet. Now, Clarkson, Missouri never had a meter in their town 5 years ago. Which they didn't have to treat the water and they had their own well.
Not in South St. Louis, isn't it? They just charge a flat rate, if they, somehow they figure it out.
Is everybody satisfied with the explanation on that, that they agreed that we voted, well, we almost got to change the ordinance to pay the 75. So it'd just be a few letters changed, and I assume that we will have the information back on the 2-inch cost of this meter reading, but it'll be dollar for dollar, whatever it is, whatever we charge is what they charge us.
So the city
Matter of
gets,
fact, we lose money on it, because we have to take it too.
Yeah, it's our
but the
mileage.
city
Yeah,
gets
there's
no
money.
money, right?
No.
Okay.
But we'll lose money on the property, because we'll have to give it to Jackson and take it to them, unless they have to be in there, and we give it to them.
But what I said, does it need to be in the ordinance in order for the people to have something to look at? Does it have to be in there, or,
We
is
can
it?
put it in there, I don't know, there's no problem, we always give them a copy of the result. We've always done it. I mean, if everybody got such a mistrust for the city, then we won't give it to them, but we always have. How can you prove if you don't give them a copy of it?
Right.
I mean, I don't care to put it in order. I resent the fact that people think we got to, because we do it anyhow. But don't make me on there. But we do it anyhow. We always have, always will. You almost, that goes without saying. It's like giving somebody a receipt when they give you $10, you know, it's just part of it. They don't have to take our word for it, we don't expect them to. Because they're mad at us when they do it double. But we ain't had hardly any since people have put money, because most of them know they got a problem. And some of them don't know they got a problem, but they do because they don't see it. But if they got a leak, we can see that, we can tell them they got a leak. Unless it's a drip, and then you'd have to run a heck of a test on that. I mean, just to watch it. But a drip for a month makes a big difference. But they know they got a drip. You can't have a drip in your house without knowing. You might for a day, but you're gonna know. Especially if it's in the bathroom close to the bedroom. Okay? I mean, I don't care if you put it in there or not, that's up to you until, before you write it up, it don't, you can always put in there, the consumer will be furnished a copy of the result, I don't care. Just the fact that it goes without saying.
Yeah, because there's a percentage if it's off, so we have to give them, here's what your percentage was versus the ordinance, so I mean, it's just, we have to get a copy to,
Well, you
to show that
understand
it's
what
not,
I'm,
you know.
what I'm saying, I'm not just saying a copy, that's fine to give a copy from the city, but a copy from the testing company.
So we have, is what they do.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah, we just-
testing with their letterhead said, this is from H&B Water Supply,
Yeah.
and this is what we found about your meter.
Yeah.
So then they have, nothing to complain about, because they can't say, well, the city,
Oh, yeah, we have no,
Yeah.
no dealings with the testing at all, we just take it to them, they give us the results, we copy it, there you go. That's what we've been doing. Well, disposal of old city electronics,
Oh, yeah.
there's, in this garage over here, there's a bunch of like old printers, old computers, old telephone systems from the, like the early 80s that are you know, completely obsolete, antiquated, plus they've been in the garage, you know, exposed to, you know, high, low temperatures and moisture, so they're junk, you know. Next Saturday, Valley High School is having an electronics take-back program. Basically anything with a cord they'll take, no charge unless it's a TV, which we don't have those. So I can get them recycled responsibly. You know, and that's why I put this on here. If you want, I'll load them in my van, I'll take them up there Saturday morning. So they're not
Sounds like a
landfill.
good idea, that way we get rid of them, it's not costing us any money to get rid of them.
Exactly, it's not,
Right.
yeah, going to landfill, yeah. And it takes up a lot of room in there, these guys.
And then is what date is that, the
March 22nd
22nd?
from 8 a.m. until 1 p.m.
And you don't have a problem doing that?
No, because I got some old stuff myself, I'm going anyway, so, you know, I'm cool with it.
I want to do that too, I've got some really old.
Now, if it's a TV, it's $15, but anything else.
That's still a bargain to get rid of a TV.
Oh, yeah, it is. Thanks for the article said, anything with a cord.
Can I ask you, what is this community building association? Is that that's not the same thing that happened down at the firehouse?
Yeah,
Same
they belong
thing?
to the city.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
basically, the only thing they left is waiting on a couple of checks to come in and the money all be turned over. And it's done. And we got a letter from the
Attorney General, there should be a letter.
to Darwin, our association, and we're done with it. Now,
I
if
wondered-
anything has to be done, the city has to handle it.
That was in November and this is March, that's why I was wondering.
Well, there's
Same
some-
thing.
Yeah, I mean, it takes, which I found out, it wasn't as easy to dissolve as I thought, because there was still a bill to have a leak fix on the roof, and we were waiting forever for Shu to get that done, you know. They finally got it done, finally got the bill. Then we also moved the insurance from the Community Building Association to the city, so then we had to wait for the check to come from their insurance for the refund for the prorated year and get that through. So there was just some things to take care of.
The city has never had to do anything with that building. That's always been our responsibility. I was president of it, Joanne was treasurer of it, secretary treasurer from day one. And even when I was out of office, the other mayors have kept me appointed to it and it stayed that way to now it's resolved. We've had a few changes in the board over the years, but not very many. Some of them quit for one reason or the other. But nobody was kicked off of it, some of them just left.
Well, the other thing I would like to talk about is this health insurance for David. Now, I don't have a problem with David having the insurance, but the prices on these, is this something that the city can afford? I mean, is this gonna be a problem for us to pay for this? That's what I wanna know.
Right. And I listed all the different options, you know, which I actually got quite a bit out of Lincoln. And yes, 422.56. This is the policy that's bolded, the first one. That's what the city has. It's a group policy, which is why it's the best one, because it doesn't have individual policies.
Right. So is that gonna be $422 just for you?
Just for me.
We're not talking about family farm.
No. My wife will be on the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, so this will just be me, myself.
And this is what Mikey and Frank have, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah, Mark has a different one because of who the doctors are and the different networks, so he has Anthem.
I was thinking of something, because I understand the need for insurance for sure. But, you know, if there was something else that we could do that would not be as high a monthly premium, and I haven't had, I mean, there's thousands, you know that, there's thousands of service and different ones to look at. But if there was some way that we could offer a cafeteria plan or a flex spend, if in case that, you know, we found something that was a better rate premium, and then it wasn't an outrageous deductible.
See, that's, my big concern is having a large deductible, because since I'm not full-time, I'd have a hard time, even $1,000 is a lot of money to me, so I'll, some of these are like a quarter of my annual income, we would these deductibles, so that's my concern, is getting a little bit low, which this one does have. Some of the other ones it's quite high.
Yeah, some of these deductibles on here are more than a person makes in a month.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But this one also pays 100% after you meet the deductible.
That's what it, from the packet I was reading on the city's insurance, yes.
And that's what it pays.
Yeah, it's awesome insurance. I mean, and this is, Missouri Consolidated, they pretty much specialize in, Missouri entities such as us, cities, county.
Well, as Brenda's question and answer,
This is, yeah.
Oh, as far as can we afford it?
where.
I mean, we don't have a lot of breathing room, but I mean, it's not gonna put us over our budget. We just have to be conservative, in as many areas as we can. I mean, mine would come out in general. Mike's gets varied. 1 month it comes out of water, 1 month it comes out of sewer. Frankie's always comes out of the street, which is general. Well, different departments within general, so mine would come out of general, but, if need be, we could split this up between water, sewer, to make it happen, we could make it happen.
Did the clerks before you always have insurance?
Hmm?
Did the clerks never
Joanne
never
never
needed
needed.
it? Huh?
Joanne worked for low dollars and no insurance because she was not a breadwinner. And she donated a lot of time. And he's making a living for his family. And he can't afford insurance, and Dave's doing a good job. We're trying to make something where he's making enough money and be able to stay with us and maybe have a career there. But, if he gets sick and gets out, he'll have to go find a better paying job to pay the hospital bill. And that's the only reason it was brought up. I mean, he's the breadwinner.
I just was.
Yeah, I understand, but I'm trying to explain. Joanne was not. It was just play money for her. And she never asked for that.
Can I ask?
No problem.
I just asked her, I don't understand. The deductible until the profit if it was $1,000. Since it's out of pocket max, $4,500.
After you pay that much, there's no more deductible, I understand.
Oh, okay.
If you spend that much out of your pocket, then you don't, that
That's the
fiscal
maximum,
year,
right,
Right.
you don't pay no more.
Gotcha.
for the year?
For the year.
Yeah.
And next year, you start over again.
Yeah.
Right.
The Georgia and myself, we don't understand a whole lot about deductible because we never had it up to just recently, already about $250.
Yeah, now we do, but we didn't.
But it's just a little bit,
Yeah.
but there are people that,
It's not.
I know people, and I got a daughter almost that has a lot of things, has almost had going to bankruptcy for copay. If you have paid, well, just like we got Medicare, some of you here got it, I know I got it. They paid 80%. Well, they not a one of us could go in the hospital and spend a week and come out and pay that other 20%. We wouldn't have it. Because that'd be some $100,000 you spend a whole week in there with big pets.
Right.
You can't, so you got supplemental and you pay that, but you're still gonna pay something, I don't care what. But you can go broke with insurance.
And it seems like it's getting worse.
But, I'm not trying to get into politics and talk about Obamacare and everything, and that ain't the real name of it. Anyhow, they gotta start somewhere. If they would work together and try to make it work, make the proper changes. There's other countries that got it and it works fine. I used to go to Canada all the time for my job. And they like it, it works. But you have to make it work. But when one side trying to make it not work, the other side saying it will, they ain't gonna go nowhere.
So Mr. Woods, the deductible, and then you add the 45, to help me understand the report. So basically, you're going to have to be out $5,500 before you'll pay 100%. Is that how that works with that?
Well,
Is that
right,
what you
well, the
got?
deductible and the out-of-pocket would be for like your co-pays and other things.
Okay,
Like
so
things
it's
like that
4,500 of the co-pays.
would hit that, right.
Okay.
Right.
So as long as you're healthy, you probably wouldn't even have to worry too much about that.
Yeah,
That's a change overnight.
But you have it, that's right, and you have
I
it.
was drinking coffee with a guy 3 weeks ago and now he's in bad shape. So, the change is, Bill Knight.
Yeah.
He is, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, lung cancer.
Didn't know.
I mean, it didn't happen that bad, but it's that bad before he knew it. Your health can change overnight.
Sounds like Karen. Her mom and dad, oh.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah, he's a finding that. But it ain't a question of need it or not, if we can afford it, we need to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the question, and I know it's a lot of money, but if we put it all together, probably every clerk in the county makes more money than he does. Or, you know, the county clerks and the clerk, and of course, most of them places got more money than we got too. But besides the point, he has to make a living. We got a good clerk, and they're hard to come by.
You know, all of that.
So we need to, if we can see a way of doing it, I see where some money is gonna be saved, possible, depending on what circumstances coming up. But these corners cut, we try to cut them, but they ain't too many to be cut.
especially when it comes to insurance. This stuff's the life out of you.
Well, you gotta have insurance. If you don't have insurance, then you wind up getting sick. You're gonna have to, so you can quit your job and get just fund enough that you can get free insurance and live off the government. Or, of course, you keep working, they're gonna take it all anyhow, you won't have no job. So it's a two-edged thing.
I don't know, I think you need to have it, send insurance, that's what it should. But he's not making that much anyway. They just,
No, if they get the new route change, he's making minimum wage again.
Well, I'm all for it. I mean, I was just worried about the cost.
Well, you know, I don't, I agree, I mean, I think we need to do it. I guess if we ever get to the point that we can't, it's gonna be pretty well that way with everybody. You'll have to look at
Right.
alternative to all of our employees about how we cover insurance. But as long as we can, we will. But, I mean, he'd be in a package of the whole group. When you get to the point that, because it would only be his insurance person, it's all the insurance person. Then you, the board or whoever's here at the time, will have to sit down and look and see what we can do. If there has to be some code, if there has to be some part of it, you know, that's just not what you have to do.
Yeah, because when we picked this plan, this PPO 1000, there were like two other options we could have chose too. So if this is going to be too expensive, you know, this is the one all of us would have, then we may want to get a cheaper plan for all of us.
Right.
Because whatever plan you pick,
It may come to
everybody's
that.
got to be on the same plan.
Well, we look at it every year.
Yes, we do.
Every year we look at
Yes,
it,
we do.
so we have to
That's part of
look
the
at it
budget.
again next year and see if there's, you know, if it goes up, which generally insurances do, then there may have to be some other places where we have to reduce the spending.
That's part of our budget every year,
Yes.
insurance to be part of it, that's when we have to look at it. We wind up with a problem with the way our premium paid and when it's paid, we get it in the budget. But, okay, no.
I do have something, and I I was going to wait till the meeting, but I think I'll go ahead and ask it now. I was looking over the minutes, and I've had these issues before with the minutes not jiving with what we're seeing actually on the video.
Okay.
And I checked, so I want to make sure that on the street department, and Clyde can help me with this, it said there that he reported that the city has ordered another 25 tons of cinders to help citizens get traction on side roads. I didn't remember hearing that. I looked on the video.
That's it?
You did say that, okay.
You sure did?
I originally ordered 50 tons, and I was running motors when I said.
Oh. I know you did in December, because I have the December minutes where you said you just gotten a shipment of 25 tons and salt and sodium and calcium chloride.
50 tons for that.
First time, but they put 25 in here. But, I mean, that's,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's why I was wondering, is that maybe was an error thinking, oh, well, he said it this month when it actually, because I did not hear it on the video, but maybe your voice was too low, I didn't hear it. Okay, that was what I was questioning on that. And, so,
It's obvious it was said, because they're down there, I guess they're down there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he said it and they delivered, so.
and so you have an invoice for it in there, everything.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I didn't see where the invoice was. I looked.
It's
that-
Vern Bowman is.
Oh, Vern Bowman, I saw
the
that.
name,
Okay.
that brings those to us.
Okay, so that's on this particular one, it's Vern Bowman.
Not on that, it's on the previous month, I'm not sure when I actually wrote the
Okay,
check.
Because here's a Vern Bowman for $475.
That would be it.
Okay, that was it?
It's $475
Okay,
per
that's-
load, and a load is 25 tons.
Okay, there's cinders that you just got or just ordered, okay. And then I was wondering, because I remember asking, and I looked on there, and I did ask Mr. Bovee about the DNR meeting on January 16th, but that was not included in there. I mean, could that be included in there? I mean, he responded with the training session, but it's up on the back page there. I think that could be added, or anyone have any objection to adding that to the minutes?
Apologies. So, I'm sorry,
That
what?
To amend that particular part of the minutes.
Okay, which part are we?
On where the water and sewer department, I guess that's where
Okay.
that would be, where I asked about the DNR meeting that was on January
Let
16th.
me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And just, I'm trying to be argument. Every word spoken and everything said don't go in the minute. Now, you asked him with that part and he answered you, and the outcome one way or the other don't mean nothing really. So if every time you ask somebody a question and he answered it, that don't necessarily reflect on them because it's immaterial.
It was.
I mean, if you ask a question was costing us money or gonna do something, or it changes the minutes reflects whatever action taken to run this city, and everything, not every word spoken.
I
They do
understand,
not-
I understand that every word spoken.
I understand.
Okay, yeah, I understand that part, yeah. But I felt that was relevant because it was a DNR and I knew that they had been here and that, because he had mentioned it the previous month that they were coming and I just wondered what the result was. And he said it was a
To
training
me,
session.
you was asking a question for your own satisfaction, or something that you wanted to know. I mean, he could have put it in a minute, but you wanted to understand from him what it's all about. You asked us about something, and once in a while, they'll just respond this, and they probably a lot of things like that that don't wind up in a minute. But if it's something that really pertains to a problem or anything, it should reflect the questions and that, not what was asked and said, but what come out of it. But every word spoken does not get put in no minute. But it's as long as you've got the general heading in there and the outcome of it.
But it was a meeting with the DNR and Mr. Bovee said there was nothing to report. So that's why I was asking. I didn't know if it was a meeting, if they were checking water samples or something like that.
And that's what I said, you asked for your own personal reason why you wanted to know. But there was nothing to it. He attended DNR meetings all the time. He has to keep his license up. And if we had to pay for it, then it is a good question. If we had to spend money to enroll him or prison, it should be a question. But some are just part of his license and things that we keep up with on the job. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. All I'm trying to get the point is, David can't, even if he has to record in and here, he can't just turn that recording on right every minute because he would spend too much time doing the minutes. As long as the general of everything being said and done is in the minutes. In general, but not every word spoken. It just can't happen. And a lot of times you people do some talking amongst yourself that's not really part of it. You ask them and one of them answer, but David's not even involved in it, if you understand what I mean. I mean, then you had that real fast, he was making a report. He reflected most of his report about him going to that, and I assume.
Well, he didn't actually.
He didn't make the
give a
report.
Yeah, he didn't give a
But he
report.
didn't that, yeah, but he was asked for a report. And he probably didn't think nothing about it neither. That's all I gotta say. I mean, I'm not trying to be argumentative, but I just want everybody to understand that minutes cannot reflect every word said. And one of them may say something that won't show up in there. But not intentionally, it's just minor, it don't have nothing to reflect or good, bad, or indifferent.
My new philosophy on minutes is for each agenda item, the board discussed, motion was made by so-and-so, motion was seconded by so-and-so, here's the votes. I'm not gonna get into who said what because it just leads to more and more, for a few, and it doesn't reflect what happened, and what happens is the motions and the votes. So that's all it really needs, that's all it needs to be in the minutes. Anything else is too time consuming?
It's not what you say, it's why the end comes out, or what happened. The vote will tell you who voted for and against, and what it's about. But we've had this argument before, we wrote letters, we got rulings on it, as long as you got in general what happened, that's what the minute is. And we got website, community building, finalizing, we got the letters in there on that, that's gonna be done.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Finalizing the treatment plant project is finalized, we got the papers, I guess you got them in your package there.
That's what the very last things, I had to fight real hard to get EIC paid because there was major confusion on if it was included or not, and we finally got the money. So everything's paid off. I basically, I don't know if I need any action or not, but I need to send a letter to USDA saying, okay, it's finalized, you can release whatever grant funds we did not.
That was hold up because of the lift station box control panel, and then it was wrong, and then people up there at DNR got their head screwed on backwards, and didn't understand what was going on, and were denying it, and then we finally got paid. Several emails and communications, and they finally seen that we knew what we were doing, and they didn't.
Right, it got confusing because we had 3 parts, and then one part got turned into 3 parts, and then so they thought, well, we paid it all. Like, no, you didn't,
They paid one part that was 3 part of that one part.
Yeah.
They didn't pay all the 3 parts.
Yeah.
Well, that area, help me understand, I don't know whether I could have looked it up in the dictionary or not, but this partisan, what does it mean to deobligate the remaining funds?
That means that there's grant funds, for these projects, and we got grant money, we used the grant money. This is money that we didn't use, so it goes to another community, wherever their next project is.
Oh, it doesn't stay with us, it means it's no
It
longer-
has to be
It
used,
has to be,
right, it has to be used for the project itself. And since our project's done,
then it's gone.
Yes,
It goes
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah, oh, believe me, I wish I could take
I
that
know.
money and just throw it in our budget,
But what people don't realize, they say, well, why did you send some back? If we use some of that money, we had to get some borrowed money to put with it, to do it. So only a small portion of it would be grant money, and the rest of it would be borrowed money.
Yeah.
So that's why that we try to not use them more than you have to. Because they don't just give you nothing. I mean, they give you that grant, but then some of it got to be borrowed, that's why we owe so much. That's why the next 20 years or so we pay it.
Yeah. So,
I assume you're gonna be prepared to vote on the ordinance for the clerk and, the ordinance 904, 903, or 903 and 904. I mean, they're coming up tonight. And there's, anything else in going on?
What is this? What are these?
that's the final payments for the sewage treatment plants.
And that's what we're taking care
That
of.
shows where our engineer bought off on.
Yeah, that's the very final, yeah.
They
just
different portions, different parts he bought off on.
So that's what number 10 is. That's what we'll take care of.
Right, that's just showing you guys that that the stuff's been paid for. And yeah, it says acceptance and final payment. I just wanted you guys to see that these are the final payments, and this is how it was spent.
That would show you that, the final treatment plant project is done. You got the paperwork there to show it, and we're done.
And this, since it's not on the agenda, it's not something we have to deal with, it's just
Well,
informational.
finalized water treatment plant project, that's the paperwork that, it says at the top, finalized.
Mine says concern investigation. I think maybe,
Oh!
I changed, I shifted.
Okay, there's some
sorry.
stuff, all
Yeah.
right, I'm sorry, from here, it looked like
It
something
looks
else,
like
I'm
the same
sorry.
thing, yeah.
Dennis, that's for the departmental reports.
Oh, okay.
And
So-
Dennis wanted that to be in the, the water and sewer department reports. He wanted you to have that paperwork, in your hands when he does his report. So he asked that I include that. I also included my cert certificate so you can see that I passed the class. Thank you.
job.
Thanks.
They don't do that like they do the right to carry law. They pay you the answer and then ask the question. You can't fail this.
Well, no, actually, the last exercise was quite difficult. I had to physically, we had to move 3 people, quite this is one of them that was, not light. And there was like, I believe 13 victims. And you have to do the most good for the most people. And bottom line was I don't want to say let 2 people die, but we had to get the ones out that we could. And we go, I'm going to do more of this before we, but yeah, I got my stuff to show.
That's basically what I've been preaching here for years. Is you gotta do what's right for the majority of people, not what's right for one. Every board that's ever come in when I've been on.
Did we receive a treasurer's report?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Should we have that removed, off the agenda for this month?
What?
Because, if we approve it, then we're approving the treasurer's report that we don't have.
Well, right, but I mean, we could change the agenda, but I don't like changing the agenda within 24 hours, if you know what I mean. What I can do is next month, I'll put treasurer's report for previous 2 months, Because I mean, I gave them the stuff, I didn't get it, I thought I would, but I didn't get the bank statements in the mail till, man, it was like, 4th or 5th or 6th, before I got them, and then I got them to him that night. But I guess it's tax season, so they're probably going on right now with stuff, so.
Well, I guess what
Well, I
I'm
hear what
saying
you're saying,
is
we're
that the
approving it, and we don't have it.
I got you.
I mean,
Can we line item consent, rather than lump sum consent agenda, line item?
If you can make the motion, approve consent agenda, less treasurer's report.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, she's right, if we don't have the report,
Right.
so in next month we'll approve the previous month, and if we got them both, we
hope
may
we-
start running month
We may
behind.
be a month behind on these, yeah, so.
Because we're at the mercy of somebody else on,
Right.
it's back. Well, make a notation on who will make the motion to approve the
Does
agenda.
anyone object to that?
No.
Before?
Good.
And will that complicate anything in our dealings this month, or?
No, actually, I thought it was gonna be smoother this month because QuickBooks did some really crazy
But
stuff.
I mean, not approving, whatever we're approving, just what's on paper there. I mean, it ain't going to interfere with the operation of the city.
No, he's just reporting what QuickBooks
Okay,
says.
that's all.
So, yeah, I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah, that's good.
I just want to make sure we don't have to shut something down because of this, you know.
Oh, no, he's just doing the bank
This,
reconciliation.
well, as soon as they come in, we get another meeting going real fast.
No, he's just doing our bank reconciliations, and then the treasurer's report, where basically he just says, here's how much in the accounts, and versus how much, so nothing he knows is gonna prevent me from doing
Okay.
what I do,
Well, I see you can make a motion to the board with the exception of, treasurer's report.
Should we do that in a work session or wait till the meeting?
Well, we
We're
cannot
gonna wait till
vote
the
in work
meeting,
session.
right, yeah, this is.
You cannot vote in work session.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, you were asking, okay, I'm sorry.
I just so
We're talking about that.
Then we make the motion that don't, with the exception of, we make a motion to accept the consent agenda with the exception of, there's no treasurer's report for the previous month. Which they all are. You can't vote in a closed, in a work.
Right, well, when
You
you
can
said
come
that, I was just.
You can
using-
come to a consensus, but you can't vote.
Okay.
Anything else? You got, you've got about 17 minutes. You want to put another nail in your coffin or anything?
Thank you. Yeah, I wanna do that.
You got everybody done?
I think so, I'm good at this point.
Take a break.